Ng Teng Fong and Changi General Hospitals stepping up vigilance after staff members tested positive for COVID-19.
Veteran journalist Patrick Daniel will return to Singapore Press Holdings as interim CEO of SPH Media Trust.
And in 2 weeks, Singapore Red Cross has raised over $3.2 million to help India as it battles the deadly pandemic.
Welcome to The Big Story, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. I'm Olivia Quay.
I'm Hairianto Diman. Now you can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never miss a single episode.
10 new COVID-19 cases in the community were reported today.
One is currently unlinked, but 9 are connected to previous cases. This includes 7 linked to the Changi Airport cluster, which has now grown to 25.
6 new imported cases were also confirmed, and more details will be shared later tonight.
Meanwhile, Changi General Hospital and Ng Teng Fong General Hospital have put extra precautions in place after a staff member at each hospital tested positive on Monday.
Jurong Health Campus, which Ng Teng Fong is a part of, said the staff member is now warded in an isolation room. His household contacts were swabbed as well, and all areas he had been in were disinfected.
At CGH, contact tracing and surveillance swab tests are ongoing. Any affected areas have also been thoroughly cleaned.
In light of recent reports of Tan Tock Seng hospital staff being discriminated, support is pouring in for them, with all 12,000 getting appreciation packs from Central Singapore CDC and Gongcha.
Launched today, this initiative ties in with CDC's Giraffes Singapore movement, which encourages everyone to stick their necks out for the common good. And each pack includes a thank you card and free Gongcha drink voucher.
Separately, Gojek is distributing ride vouchers worth $10 each to TTSH employees as part of its existing Go Heroes campaign.
An outpouring of support as well for India's COVID-19 fight. In the last 2 weeks, the Singapore Red Cross has raised over $3.2 million.
The funds will go to securing much needed equipment like oxygen concentrators, oxygen cylinders and ventilators, as well as hygiene and medical kits. SRC had already sent 1,300 oxygen cylinders, 3 ISO cryogenic tanks and 5 ventilators to India.
In non-COVID-19 news, construction of 2 more stations on the Jurong Region Line will start later this month. Expected to open by 2029, the stations along Jalan Boon Lay will shorten travel time to the Jurong industrial area. A 1.5-kilometre viaduct will also be built between the stations over Jurong Central Park and Jalan Boon Lay. And when completed, the Jurong Region Line will have 3 interchanges at Choa Chu Kang, Boon Lay and Jurong East.
Meanwhile, 9 contracts worth over $320 million have been awarded for the Singapore-Johor RTS link. The contracts are to develop core systems like the signalling system for track work, as well as depot equipment and service vehicles.
The Great Singapore Sale will partner with Lazada for this year's annual shopping event. It's the first time the GSS has appointed an official e-commerce partner in its 27-year history.
The GSS went online for the first time last year amid the pandemic, with live streaming activities and virtual workshops held on the Singapore Retailers Association's online platform. But as the pandemic is far from over, the association said it can tap on Lazada's expertise in helping retailers move online.
We spoke to Lazada Singapore's CEO on how this partnership will boost the GSS and what shoppers can expect.
Right now, we have more than 18,000 brands selling on Last Mall, which is the official area for the brands and the retailers. And many of the retailers plan months in planning for some of the key events, campaigns, and Great Singapore Sales. What we wanted to do is we wanted to better support these retailers. So a lot of the great deals and great efforts that they put in to create those sales moments, they can actually utilize both online channel as well as their retail footprint to create that extra excitement for the consumers. We're using June 6th as a grand opening of GSS and using July 7th as a final finale of GSS, which synchronizes very nicely with some of the key moments of online. starting from 11/11, many of the double-digit months has been iconic to our online sales. And by synchronizing that with the offline sales event, we believe it's going to bring that extra level excitement.
Veteran journalist Patrick Daniel will come out of retirement and return to Singapore Press Holdings to head its media business as interim CEO after it's transferred to a CLG called SPH Media Trust.
Chairman-designate Koh Boon Wan announced this appointment earlier today.
I'm grateful to Patrick for agreeing to help us out. Like me, he's enjoying his retirement, but he has a strong personal interest to see SPH Media succeed. I have assured him that I'll begin a search for a CEO who can take SPH Media into the future as a multilingual digital media organization, one who understands both East and West and is Singaporean at heart, and be among the world's best.
At a town hall with SPH staff, Mr. Koh listed 3 pressing challenges: how to enhance SPH's current digital products, how to grow readership, particularly among the young, and how to grow digital revenue to counter the decline in print revenue.
To address these, he said it requires a quantum leap in capabilities, skill sets and attitude. To the end, an SPH Media Academy will be set up to train new hires and help existing staff.
Without a radical restructuring, newsrooms will continue to be squeezed, product quality and circulation will eventually decline. The first casualties will likely be our vernacular papers. This will be detrimental to our multiracial society. Without regular and substantial financial support from the government, SPH Media will soon be insolvent. It will be a struggle to sustain quality journalism as a public good.
Looking overseas, India today reported a record number of Covid-19 deaths with over 4,200 fatalities in the past 24 hours. Its daily cases rose by over 348,000. According to a new tracking system, India's infection curve may be showing early signs of flattening, but experts say the decline in numbers is likely to be slow. Its current critical situation means Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will not travel to Britain next month for the G7 summit.
The US still has the highest number of cases in the world, but its daily average fell to 38,800, the lowest since last September. While vaccinations are being steadily rolled out, the daily pace is down 37% from mid-April. So, to encourage more Americans to get their shots, ride-hailing providers Uber and Lyft are offering free rides to vaccination sites until July the 4th. This as part of a new partnership with the White House.
Hostilities between Israel and Hamas escalated overnight, with 35 Palestinians killed in Gaza and 5 in Israel.
It's the most intensive aerial exchanges in years that recall the two sides' last major conflict in 2014. Garvino Garay reports.
In the worst fighting in years between Israel and the Palestinian Islamist group that runs Gaza, a 13-story residential block in Gaza collapsed after one of several dozen Israeli airstrikes on Tuesday, as rockets also showered down into Israel. Gaza residents were seen sifting through debris. They had been warned to evacuate the area, according to witnesses, and there were no reports of casualties in the block 2 hours after it collapsed. Shortly after the attack, Hamas said it would respond by firing rockets at Tel Aviv. Air raid sirens and explosions were heard around the city, and the skies were lit up by the streaks of multiple interceptor missiles launched toward the incoming rockets. Pedestrians ran for shelter, and diners streamed out of Tel Aviv restaurants as the sirens sounded. Even before a barrage sent in retaliation for the destruction of the tower block, which contained a civilian Hamas office, Israel reported that 480 rockets had been fired across the border by Palestinian militant groups. Israel said it had sent 80 jets to bomb Gaza and dispatched infantry and armor to reinforce the tanks already gathered at the border, evoking memories of the last Israeli ground incursion into Gaza to stop rocket attacks in 2014. The Israeli military said many of the militants' rockets fired from Gaza had fallen short and wounded Palestinians, and that Israel's Iron Dome air defenses had intercepted the bulk of those that made it across the border. The fighting between Israel and Gaza's armed factions was triggered by clashes between Palestinians and Israeli police at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque on Monday. Jerusalem, holy to Jews, Muslims, and Christians, has been tense during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan, with the threat of a court ruling evicting Palestinians in the holy city from homes claimed by Jewish settlers, adding to the friction.
In sports, Manchester City have won their third Premier League title in 4 years. This after second-place Manchester United were beaten by Leicester last night, meaning City are now 10 points ahead of their Manchester rivals with just 3 games left.
3 Premier League titles in 4 years. It's not often teams in England show that kind of consistency over such a long period. That must make you proud.
Yeah, we are part of the, I'm pretty sure, Manchester City in these 10 years. Like I remember many players, many managers that create this kind of thing for, yeah, it's part of that. So, yeah, when we achieve 5 Premier Leagues in this, the most toughest, I've been in Spain, I've been in Germany, and I can say this is the toughest one. This is the toughest league, I would say by far. And for many reasons, and achieve 5 Premier Leagues in 10 years means a lot for this organization. So, from the most important guy since the, you know, the less recognized guy externally, so a big compliment.
Well, those are our top stories for today. For more news and videos, visit straitstimes.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the red button below.
Once again, I'm Haryanto Diman with Olivia Quinn. Now here's a wishing to all our Muslim viewers and readers, Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. We'll be back on Friday.